and welcome to Ireland AM and happy Rugby World Cup Day. Summer has decided to stick around this month, so we thought let's take advantage of the great weather this morning.
Yeah, we're out here for the day. Coming up on today's show, the weather this week might be suggesting it's still summer, but we know the autumnal chill will kick in any day now. We've men's styles for keeping toasty right through to the winter.
The sun's out, so that means it's still barbecue season. We'll be cooking some baked fish on the grill.
You'll know him from Death in Paradise and Johnny English. Actor Ben Miller tells us about why he's constantly mistaken for Rob Brydon and Paddington Bear.
Oh my God, don't you love Paddington Bear?
Love it, Paddington Bear.
God, can't help it. And Ireland take on Romania in their opening match of Rugby World Cup today. In the beautiful city of Bordeaux, we'll be crossing over to our reporter Tommy Martin in France for a preview of Ireland's opening match with Romania.
Now, you may have noticed our very own Elaine Crowley is missing from the AM headquarters this morning.
She just doesn't like us very much.
Maybe not.
I don't think so, no. She has abandoned us for greener pastures, literally. Elaine, tell us where you are this morning.
Guys, I'll always love you. Don't worry. I just had to run away just for a little bit because being the day that it is, of course, Ireland are taking on Romania in this historic day of sport, which we will be having coverage of later on, of course. But for now, I'm here in the lovely leafy suburb of Templeogue in Dublin at St Mary's Rugby Football Club. Why am I here? Well, you may notice a certain player called Johnny Sexton. He used to kick a ball around his places from time to time. But not only are we going to talk about that later on, we'll have all the sports news. Plus, I will be talking to the legend, the one and only mullet man, Shane Byrne. Great friend of myself and the show, and he'll be giving us his 2 cents on what he can expect from Ireland's Rugby World Cup campaign. Also, I'll be talking to the next generation, excuse me, of players, of course, here as well. So who's going to be the next big thing in Irish sport? But sure, for now, I'm just going to, I might have a little picnic here, will I? Just chill out. Don't miss me too much in there, lads.
I don't want her to have a picnic. I want her to kick a ball. I want to see a ball be kicked by Elaine.
I'd love to see that. Get your kit on.
No one wants to see that. You know what happens when I do that. No good comes of me playing sport.
Elaine, we'll see you in a little bit. Right, let's see what the world is looking like as you wake up. Geraldine Lynagh is in the Virgin Media News Hub.
Thanks, Paul. Good morning. 632 people have been confirmed dead after a powerful earthquake hit Morocco. The 6.8 magnitude quake struck just after 11 o'clock local time last night, with an epicentre 44 miles southwest of Marrakesh. Its impact was felt in several cities. Frightened residents were seen running out into the streets in Marrakesh, where buildings have collapsed. Many are believed to be still trapped under rubble, and rescuers are attempting to reach them. Over 300 people were injured, but that figure is expected to rise. Many of the victims are believed to be in hard-to-reach mountain areas. Enoch Burke has been jailed for a second time for breaching a High Court order by failing to stay away from the school where he worked. The ruling came at a late-night evening court sitting, which was interrupted several times by angry outbursts from Mr Burke's family. Enoch Burke had resumed his attendance at Wilson's Hospital School in Westmeath when the new term resumed, even though he had been ordered by the High Court to stay away. Last night, Mr Justice Mark Heslin said Enoch Burke's jailing was for an indefinite period until he purges his contempt. A man in his 30s is due in court this morning to face charges in connection with a major drug seizure in Dublin. Cannabis worth an estimated €3.3 million was seized by Gardaí, who stopped and searched a vehicle in Lucan yesterday. 2 men were arrested. The 34-year-old man has been charged, while a 48-year-old man has been released without charge. A status yellow heat warning has come to an end this morning, although forecasters say temperatures will remain in the 20s in most parts. Ireland officially entered a heat wave yesterday, with a number of weather stations breaking heat records for September. A high of 28.5 degrees was recorded in Oak Park in Carlow. Today, temperatures will fall back a little, but will still remain between 21 and 26 degrees Celsius. Rescue efforts are continuing in Greece following deadly floods in parts of the country. The severe rainstorms eased in Greece yesterday, but the floodwaters are rising in the centre of the country. Emergency helicopters have been taking people from the water in villages which had been inundated with water and mud. Flooding triggered by rainstorms has also hit neighbouring Bulgaria and Turkey. And more heavy rainfall is set to affect Hong Kong today, where deadly flooding has caused major disruption in recent days. Metro stations and roads have been impassable, and some drivers have had to be rescued from their cars.
The streets are already flooded in Hong Kong, and the city remains under its highest rainstorm warning. Record-breaking rainfall paralysed much of Hong Kong yesterday, with flash flooding submerging metro stations and trapping drivers on roads, as authorities suspended schools and urged people to stay indoors. Some drivers had to be rescued from their cars. with car parks so flooded car roofs were only just visible above the water. The Hong Kong rainfall has been caused by the remnants of tropical cyclone Haiku and comes just 1 week after Hong Kong was lashed by its strongest typhoon in 5 years. 86 people were injured as Typhoon Seola swept the region. Marie Mulcahy, Virgin Media News.
A judge in Georgia in the US has rejected former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows' bid to move his case to federal court. He's one of 19 people, including former President Donald Trump, charged with attempting to overturn Georgia's election results in 2020. Meadows had wanted to get his case moved to a federal court in the hopes of using federal immunity protections to get the charges dropped. Donald Trump is also expected to attempt to get his case moved, but this ruling is a significant setback for him and the other defendants. At a rally in South Dakota last night, the former president, who faces a series of legal actions, was defiant.
So this battle that we're in is a battle for all of us, and it's for history. This is historic. This is a big moment in our country because we're either going to go one way or the other. And if we go the other, we're not going to have a country left. We will fight together, we will win together, and then we will seek justice together. We're going to seek justice.
Leaders of the world's largest economies are arriving in India for the annual G20 summit meeting. US President Joe Biden touched down yesterday evening ahead of the gathering in the capital, New Delhi. Russian President Vladimir Putin is again staying at home, sending his foreign ministers instead. And China's Xi Jinping, who commands the world's second largest economy, has also decided not to come. Finally for now, news in Turkey. A rescue operation is underway to bring a trapped cave explorer to the surface. The American researcher, 40-year-old Mark Dickey, fell ill about 1,000 metres below the entrance of a cave, and rescue teams say he has now recovered enough for them to start the process of moving him out. The operation could take 3 or 4 days.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media.
This afternoon, mist and fog will clear to leave a dry start for many with sunny spells. However, it will be cloudier in the west and the north with patchy rain and drizzle. Temperatures will range from 20 to 24 degrees. This evening, scattered showers will develop, heavy with a chance of isolated thunderstorms. Mist and fog may linger on some coasts through the evening. Temperatures will range from 19 to 23 degrees. And tonight will be mild and humid, becoming quite cloudy with well-scattered showers continuing, some heavy with isolated thunderstorms possible. Temperatures will range from 15 to 17 degrees with mist and fog developing once again in light variable winds.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media.
Now let's check on your morning papers, starting with the Irish Times. Their front page reads, Kiev accuses Musk of committing evil. The story details how a senior Ukrainian official has accused Elon Musk of committing evil by ordering his engineers to restrict internet access to Kiev's military to prevent a strike on Russian warships that frequently bombard Ukraine's cities.
Pensions and fuel allowance to rise in the budget. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. The paper reveals how state pensions will rise in the budget along with the fuel allowance, meaning some older people will get over €300 a week during winter next year.
The Examiner leads with speed camera bid to cut road deaths. The story reveals that Gardaí are to provide an extra 4,265 hours of speed camera operations in an attempt to get to grips with the devastating death toll on the roads. On to the tabloids now, and the Herald leads with Hutch family is falling apart. The story details how a nephew of Jerry, the monk Hutch, has been jailed for snatching a woman's handbag in a Dublin pub. The Daily Mail's front page reads, major blow for one-off housing in rural Ireland. The story goes on to say that a clampdown on one-off housing in rural Ireland has been recommended to the government by an expert review group. The Sun's front page leads with hero cops save mum. The paper details how 2 hero cops risked their lives to pull a woman to safety after gangsters petrol bombed an innocent family's home in West Dublin. The Star leads with Helen Hunt. It goes on to report that Justice Minister Helen McEntee has said she is absolutely determined to bring home the Kinane gang leaders to face justice here. And finally, the Mirror leads with I'll do it my way. The paper details how new Late Late Show host Patrick Keelty says he hasn't spoken to Ryan Tubridy as he vows to present the show in his very own way. Now, let's have a little chit-chat, because according to a recent study, only 12% of us are sleeping through the night. While we believe that we need at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, the average Irish person is only getting 6 hours and 22 minutes.
The study also found that Irish people are 2.5 times more likely to be scrolling on social media, than our neighbours in the UK, and 6% of us still love a hot water bottle.
Yeah, that's me. So this morning, we'd love to know, how do you sleep? And is technology ruining it? Send us your thoughts and texts on WhatsApp 089 611 111.
Please do get involved in this, right? Because apparently there's 7 sleep personalities.
Okay.
I'll just give you 1 or 2. Out like a light means you're falling asleep straight away, right? Ceiling watcher means goes to bed but struggles to relax and fall asleep. Clock watcher means you're always up checking the clock. Late night scroller, that's me. I actually need to keep scrolling, and I hate this about myself. I always need to keep scrolling, and then I'm like, okay, I'm tired, and then the phone needs to go down.
It almost helps because your eyes start getting tired. But then sometimes with social media, you can be still quite alert. So some people might prefer reading, but I think I'm a combination of social media and out like a light. Because if I'm tired, I will just sleep.
But tell the nation what you needed last night.
What I did
probably
last
one
night.
of the most hottest days and hottest nights in the world. This mad egg had a what?
A hot water bottle. Yes.
Are you okay?
Last night was roasting. I know it was roasting, but I'm the kind of person that needs really, really hot feet. My feet need to be scorching hot to be able to sleep.
I felt like I was sleeping on the sun, yet you want to add to that.
No, I'd be barefoot and I've 1 foot on a hot water bottle and 1 foot out of the bed. The combination of hot and cold.
Yeah.
Is anyone else like that?
No.
No? Just me? I've always been like that. But, what about you, though? Because are you surprised that, it's only 12% of us that get the required amount of sleep?
No, not at all. I haven't slept for about 3 weeks now because, with the heat, and you're always thinking, I'm that person. There's one of these things, the sleep personalities, which says you're always focused about what's happening the next day.
Yeah.
I will wake up and just be like, oh my God, tomorrow. And then that's me. But what are you? We want to know. 089 611 111. Up next, we cross over to Elaine for the latest in sport as Ireland gets set to take on Romania in just a few hours. We're back in just a few minutes.
To Ireland. You may notice I'm not in studio. Yes, I have been liberated, but for a very special occasion. Of course, Ireland are due to take on Romania in their opening game of the Rugby World Cup. But so on that note, we said we'd actually go to a beautiful place here that has been no stranger to a few stars of rugby players. So now, lads, Oisin Langan, Jonathan Higgins, you're not in France. You're here at the moment. So the opening game of Ireland's Rugby World Cup, in my ear there, the opening game of the France versus New Zealand last night. It was an interesting one. Any surprises there? And I suppose, what does that mean now for Ireland in the group stage?
Well, yesterday kind of dictated who we could play in the quarterfinals. Now, I don't want to get carried away because Ireland and World Cups haven't got on famously, but by and large, we've got to quarterfinals. We've got out of the group. 2007 being an obvious exception, and that's a tournament that we still have nightmares about, but have learned an awful lot from. Yeah, but we're back in France to put it right. Yeah. Anyway, so the top of that pool plays second place in our pool. So that means that it's likely to be France who will top that pool, barring disaster. I can't see them not top the pool from here because that was the big one last night for them. So our pool has obviously the big ones: South Africa, Scotland, Tonga, and today we play Romania, who qualified on a technicality. They qualified because Spain played an illegible player in one of their games, so they lost out. So that kind of tells you what kind of opposition they'll be. No disrespect to them, having just disrespected them, I guess. But anyway, if we finish second, we're likely to play France in the quarterfinals. But let's not get too carried away. It's a tough group. Scotland, South Africa, they'll both fancy a crack at us. And a game that could cause us trouble. I don't think we lose it, but we could lose players. And Ireland losing players at World Cups through injury in the past has been a real, it's been a real sticking point for us. And we've struggled at times with the depth of our squad. That Tonga game, they could be hard hitting, and you could lose players there. Look, you could lose players today. Yeah. Someone could fall over. Someone could twist in the wrong way. That happens in rugby. It happens in any contact sport. It happens in any sport. The ideal situation today is that we win, we play well, we get a bonus point, no one gets injured, Johnny Sexton gets minutes in the legs. And I was listening to Matt Williams on the Virgin Media Rugby Pod during the week, and he said what he wants to see is momentum from here. Bit of energy, bit of enthusiasm. The set piece is going well.
Is it important that they really knock it out of the park today as opposed to just having almost a training game for Johnny Sexton? Because in fairness, if we don't win it and very, very comfortably, it will be an utter disgrace. But, I mean, a very strong squad as well. Is it a bit risky fielding such a strong squad?
There's been so many of those conversations, has there, even in the last couple of weeks in particular, as we've been looking forward to this World Cup for so long. The seedings were out so early, give us this distorted shape. And then obviously our history in World Cups, and then everyone's talking about how do we hold Jonathan Sexton back maybe a bit later, do we mind players, do we try and go on a run, do we try and stage them? I think last night is a little bit of a kind of a, not quite a wake-up call, but with France, you're not quite sure how they're going to react in their home crowd. I think we've answered that question now. We definitely need to avoid them. That puts a bit of the excitement to one side.
Then we get New Zealand.
Well, I know.
Would you rather be slapped or kicked?
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I think last night France looked scary, and if they get that, that's the only question mark for me prior to this was France. What are they going to be like with their crowd? They have been a bit edgy at times. They look like they've got everyone together. That's scary. Ireland, though, it's a no-win situation really today. You're looking at getting Sexton back. It's probably going to take him a couple of games to get back into the swing of things. It's a long time since he's walked out of the England game, almost 6 months now, so he hasn't played a lot of football. He has going to have to come back into the equation. Ireland have mixed things up. You're going to have to get, I think people are talking about 60, 70 points. That probably is going to be the situation, but again, Oisín touched on it there with players. Look, we are going to lose players over the course of the campaign. That's the reality of it, but you're trying to avoid key ones. We've been in situations before where we've kind of picked strong teams initially and gone to get early momentum, and that hasn't worked, and then we're chasing it for afterwards. So it's probably unlikely, but we're looking for a stress-free, easy, get a good start, get the scores up, and then maybe try and freshen things up. But that never happens.
In terms of excitement, though, like last night, it really delivered, didn't it?
Oh, it really did, and France looked incredibly physical, but they also looked incredibly skillful. Now, people who are old like me, and not Jonathan, I have a few years on Jonathan, and certainly not you, Elaine. We've seen the French flair of the past, and that went missing for a long time. And France actually got very introspective and looked at themselves, and they said, right, well, what do we need to do here to be successful in our own World Cup? And in fairness, they worked hard, they put it all together, and you could see it at times last night, the way they moved the ball around, the way they reacted to the bounce. They had all the skills, but they also had the physicality to beat up New Zealand. Now, that's an important thing for France, to marry that. And you could even see the importance of the results to them. Aldrit did an interview last night after the game, and he said, look, we haven't won it yet, but he seemed relieved. Like, you can't fake that emotion. Like, it was a big thing for France to perform, especially given what they've been through in the lead-in to the competition. They've missed players through injury, there's been a bit of controversy. So for them to deliver on the first night, that's a big thing for them, and they will cruise through the rest of this pool.
It's scary on that as well. He said they weren't at their best and still racked up that scoreline, so that's a little bit of, ooh. Yes, exactly.
That would be a terrifying match for anybody, but very comfortable.
Start New Zealand had as well, like you thought that was going to be one-way traffic.
Their first ever pool game loss. What does that tell you about New Zealand? And I won't say how far back they've come, because they can bounce back from this. And they did play well for lots of the game, and we could be guilty of scoreboard journalism here, and it's a good test for them as well, But yes, France looked frightening last night.
That's why you need to avoid them.
So in terms of today then, what do you think is going to happen? Of course, the back row has been a bit of experimentation there as well, Jonathan, today. Yeah,
there's been a couple of changes, hasn't there? And again, we talk about injuries, and that's been no more so. I'm curious about Hansen not being involved. There was all the maybe side plots, or maybe some people enjoyed the seaside a little bit too much, and we thought straight away, oh, if there ever is a player that maybe let be a bit should we sort of like fun and energetic, I think is the most polite.
It wouldn't be Ireland at a World Cup in any sport without
exactly,
rumours.
That's it as well. But I think that was put to bed. But Earl's coming in. O'Mahony at 7 is an interesting one as well. Obviously, Sexton's coming into it is the big story out of the whole team. But look, there is, I suppose, unlike maybe previous World Cups, we do have a considerable bit of strength and depth. You don't want to jinx that, because repeat on what we touched on earlier, there will be injuries, but there is players that can play in certain positions, and Cian Healy is a huge loss as well in terms of the cover that he gives in the front row and the cover that he can in numerous positions there. But I think Ireland are in a good place. The camp is in a really good spot. It seems to be a little bit different, we hope, than previous World Cup squads, where the backside has gone out of things early doors, and then you hear afterwards about other rumours and stuff like that. But it does seem to be special, but it's a case now of just getting on board and getting off to the start, because last night There's a little bit of a, maybe just put the excitement to one side.
Yeah.
And we're obsessed about getting past the quarter-final. We shouldn't be too hard on ourselves. It's possible we could get to the quarter-final and lose to a very good France team or a very good New Zealand team. So let's not pressurise ourselves by doing don't jinx it. Just relax and enjoy it game per game.
But it's there.
Terribly excited about the rugby. We're after running out of time for absolutely everything else. Of course, I have to mention Siobhan Macron, who of course won Ireland's first gold medal at the championships, the World Rowing Championships. Well done. They're absolutely amazing. And of course, the golf. Can't even talk about Shane Lowry and the rest of them, but sure, we'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah, he
had
a good start to get things up and neck.
It's also all about the Ardmore junior hurlers who are in the Waterford County final tonight. Best of luck to them. I can't play because I'm useless.
Well done to you. You got that in there.
I'm missing because they won't pick me.
Forget about the Irish Open. We've got more important things to talk about. Right, that's all from here for the moment. We'll be back again later on in the show. But for now, it's back to you beautiful guys in studio.
Thanks, Elaine. And don't forget, you can catch Ireland v Romania live here on Virgin Media 1. Coverage gets underway at 11:30.
Now, after the break, stylist Alexander Fitzgerald has options to take a fella's wardrobe into autumn.
What do we got quickly?
We got 4 looks. They are really wallet friendly. It's all about layering for autumn, so there'll be some great looks.
We love that. Right, see you after this quick break.
Welcome back to Ireland AM. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking that summer was only starting with the weather we had this week.
But no, the chill is just around the corner, and stylist Alexander Fitzgerald has options to keep us toasty this autumn.
That's the
good
plan.
morning.
Good morning.
We're getting ready for it because we know that all of a sudden this is going to be gone and we're in.
100%. We're back in Kashmir next week, probably, but in the meantime, let's enjoy the sunshine.
What have you got for us today?
4 great looks. They're all quite wallet friendly. Three are very wallet friendly, and it's all about layering. So for different age groups, different events, different categories. So we kick off.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, great. Well, first up, this is Quinlan. He is head to toe in Pennies or Primark if you're up north. This whole outfit is coming in at €119. Paul actually guessed it at 120.
I got 120, but one of our other models got 119.
But I can tell you have a bit of a shopping addiction.
Oh,
that's it. Start with the bomber. The reason I've chosen this is, first of all, the price. It's €30, which is phenomenal. But at the moment, bombers are everywhere on the international catwalks. Gucci, Prada, they're all doing them, whether oversized or cropped. This one, we've just gone standard, but it's great. It's a black, it's a PU leather. It's really comfy. Under it, for the layering effect, I've gone with a polo neck. This is actually, it's €15. It's machine washable, which is brilliant, and it's a mix of viscose and nylon, so it's going to wear quite well. And as I say, machine washable.
The polos are great for smart casual. To you can really dress up, dress down with a polo.
You can put a hoodie under this.
Yeah. Throw a hoodie or put a t-shirt for a totally different look. The trousers, they're €25. They're actually part of the suit, so it's a mix and match suit. I love it. They're a slim fit. They've got like a micro check, which is really quite smart. And it goes really well with that. You could go from the office to the bar with a look like this.
And our bag, you keep holding all the secrets.
The bag, that's from the Kem collection. Kem Setene, who's got a really good, very strong ongoing collaboration with Pennies. It's brilliant. It's mock croc. It's €25. And keeping the kind of black theme, the boots, again, Paul was asking about these earlier, they're very Prada-esque, the kind of big, chunky or oversized boot. They're €24. So this whole look would bring you from office to bar to date night to whatever you want.
Really,
as I say,
nice.
119. You can't really go wrong. And for autumn, it's perfect.
Yes.
Gorgeous. And like you say, you can really mix it up. What are we going to next?
Okay, this is Alex. He is dressed in Vidaner. We're going Irish here. It's an Irish company, Irish owned, designed here in Ireland. They're around for over 50 years. 1965, I believe. The jacket is the hero piece here. It's 155, which I wouldn't quite put it at investment, but it
will do you the season, a couple of seasons even.
You'll get a few seasons, and you'll get 8 solid months between now and April. The technology is brilliant. It's water repellent fabric. It's breathable. It retains its shape. It's got it's got exceptional warmth. You
can really see the quality of the jacket.
The quality is brilliant, and inside actually it's fleece-lined pockets, and inside so it's great insulation without being too sweaty.
You have a peep of a shirt there. The print is in.
The printed shirts are huge. €75 for this one. Now it's called a Drayton. It's got a kind of micro print on it. You can go much more classic, much more casual with a monochrome shirt from Wiedenair. But this one I love.
And you've toned it down with the sweater.
The sweater, I love this. It's kind of biscuity oatmeal colour. It's €75. It's soft lamb's wool knit, so it's going to last and endure. This comes in crew neck, in V-neck, and in sleeveless. But you can go whatever you want. With this, I think it's just lovely to kind of go with the basics on the colour.
And the belt then?
The belt, okay, this is Wiedenair as well, €25. It's an elasticated braided belt. Great thing about these, I'll always feature them, they haven't got holes. You just make the hole yourself as you come and go. So if you've had a big meal, you loosen it up, small meal, tighten it. The jeans are from Pennies, at €14, nice slim fit. Again, we could have gone with cords or moleskins to make them look more polished. But you know,
it's a casual. It's like smart casual, right?
That's it. We're trying to cover all the bases and different looks.
Love that.
Now, and here we have Cuba. He is head to toe in M&S. This whole look, it's a bit more high end. It's indicative of the quality. It's $285 for the entire ensemble.
Look.
Start with the gilet. This is a brilliant autumn piece. It's €65. This is made from actually flying the green credentials recycled nylon.
Amazing.
And it's responsibly sourced feather and down inside. I love it. It comes in different colours.
It's also great to see that the gilet is back.
100%, because as well as that, as the weather goes on, like last year we had a really warm October, and then there was some days that weren't warm. So the gilet is kind of great that you can layer it up, layer it down. And you've done it then with this jacket as well.
That's it. The jacket, these again, they've been having a moment for a while, but the jacket is €65. It's made from responsibly sourced cotton. It's actually quite heavy, so I've just gone for a really light t-shirt under it, but the jacket itself for this current weather would be more than enough. I mean, it's really got good heat. It's got a big check, which I love. Under it, gone very casual. It's a t-shirt,
plain white tee.
But actually, interestingly, this one is cotton with elastane, so it's got a lovely stretch. And after washing it, obviously, retracts back into its original shape. So it's a great.
And you recommend that if you're wearing it underneath the jacket or something like that?
I think so. Look, you could go bare, flash a bit of flesh, but you know, the chinos now, these are €57. They have what's called a four-way stretch. Don't ask me what that is, but I know it's something really good, and it's all about shape retention. They're actually water resistant, which is brilliant, especially with the Irish weather. And again, it's responsibly sourced cotton. They're a slim fit. You know, they have different fits, but again, with Cuba's shape, I thought it's the most flattering look.
And the trainers.
The trainers, I love these. They're €85. And again, now the quality is really good. They have something called Airflex Comfort, which makes them really super soft. And they have a thing called Fresh Feet Technology, which combats the bacteria that makes our feet smell.
Love that.
I'm not saying
nobody
feet
needs
smell,
that in the autumn. Now this is a look right up my street.
We're actually, before we went live, Paul was saying about putting a hoodie under a bomber. This is what we've done here. From Pennies, Colin. The bomber is like a suede, is it? It's like a shade suede, yeah. The entire look is less than €78. The bomber itself is €30. I've gone all grey with everything here today. The hoodie, the price is phenomenal. It's €11. That kind of a really pale grey.
And they probably do them in all different colours as well.
Every colour under the sun, so you're covered, whether you want to go dark or light or bold or discreet. The world's your oyster. The t-shirt, they're reduced at the moment. They are €2.80. So it's a real basic. Load them up, have a few of them in your wardrobe.
Can never have enough.
Exactly. Another pair of chinos here. These ones are €40. They're a slim fit, but actually they've like a lot of fabrics now have got a bit of stretch, so there's elastin in them. And again, for wearer comfort and durability, it's brilliant. It really it's a game changer.
Do these come in other colours as well?
A huge amount of colours, and again different fits. With these, actually, interestingly, they have a minimum 50% of the cotton is from Primark's sustainable cotton recycling program. So again, you know, it's just good to kind of fly the green flag.
It's always good when you walk into like a Pennies and you see all the colours and all the different shapes and sizes in chinos as well as jeans as well. It's great to kind of
whatever you want, you can get it. If I have time for the trainers, they're high top trainers, €20. Again, we could have gone with a pair of loafers or boots, but the trainers, I'm calling this a kind of studenty look.
Give me 6 pairs.
This is
me for the winter.
You're ready to hit the dance studio with that, Paul.
There you go. Xander nailed it on the head. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Pleasure. Thank you.
Right, coming up next, we cross over to our Elaine at the Rugby Club as she meets some of Ireland's future athletes. We're back in just a few minutes.
very welcome back to Ireland AM. Now I'm here at St Mary's College RFC here in Templeogue in Dublin, and very special day today. You may or may not know that Ireland are taking on Romania in their opening match of the Rugby World Cup today. But even more importantly, more important stuff going on here today, as you can see there behind me. And here with me, of course, to talk all things rugby and the history of this club, of course, is Gareth Logan, a coach here. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
So now, we'll talk to the kids here a little bit later on, but of course, at the moment, when you look at St Mary's, it's steeped in rugby history and arguably one of the best players in Irish history, of course, who's played here as well.
Yeah, we've had many great players, obviously John O'Sexton, but there's a whole wall full of internationals and lines. If you look inside Jack McGrath, there's so many that you could see on the wall. Yeah, we're a great club.
So how long have you been involved with the club here?
Over 20 years.
Wow.
I started here when I was 18, come up to under 20s from Guinness's Rugby Club, and I've been here ever since. Yeah. Never moved.
And the tradition here is so strong, of course. We look around behind us, the underage is very, very strong here as well. Is that really important to keep kids involved in sports, I think? Because a lot of the times, once they hit secondary school, they tend to kind of fall by the wayside. But from a coach's perspective, how do you kind of retain the interest for them?
Look, it's massively important. The mini section in every rugby club is very important. You know, when you come in at under sixes, they're learning the basics and they're building themselves up all the way through the years. Like you see some of the guys here from the under 12s and the girls here from the under 12s as well. They're an absolute asset to every rugby club. So yeah, it's very, very important to the club.
Now, what do you think about the game today, though? I mean, from a dispassionate point of view, I mean, we're going to win, realistically speaking, but I mean, if you're going to look at the actual mechanics of the game, how do you think we're going to fare?
I think we'll go well. Like, obviously, Jono's out for his first game back. So that's going to be very important to him to get that hit out today. I think we'll go well. I think we'll go real well. Obviously, we've got a very strong pack out. He hasn't gone lightly on the team. So, yeah, I think we'll do the job today.
Did you watch the match last night?
It was unbelievable, yeah.
We could be facing a bit of trouble later on in the stages.
I don't know about that. I think, like, Andy Farrell has done an unbelievable job. You can see the team, the atmosphere amongst them. We can all feel it when we go into the stadium. This is a very special Irish team, and I think we'll fare a lot better than we're not the underdogs anymore, put it that way.
And you're all very proud, of course, of your alumni, Johnny Sexton, and we'll talk to some of the boys here a little later on. But first I'm going to go to the girls, because sometimes I think, and I know myself, girls are very much overshadowed when it comes to sport, aren't they? But not today, because we're talking to you girls. Lucy, now tell me, how long have you been involved in the club here?
I've been playing for about, I'd say, nearly 2 years now, and it's a really good sport. Like as well, like I play GAA as well, and it really helped out with my GAA. Like it makes you like more like agile. So the rugby really helps out with that.
Who's your favourite player?
James Lowe and Johnny Sexton.
And how about girls?
I don't really watch the girls' rugby.
Oh my God, what are we going to do? But I suppose, being the day that's in it, it is all about the guys today, and you're going to be watching Johnny. Do you think he'll how many scores do you think he'll put on the board?
I'm not sure. I'm just going to see for myself.
And how about you yourself? What's your name?
Ruby O'Hanlon.
Ruby, now, what position do you play?
I play left wing or right wing.
Left wing or right wing, so you have to be very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you love about rugby?
I love being involved in the club and all the friends that I've made along the way, and I love going to training and playing matches and everything.
Yeah, and sometimes people are worried that girls are going to give up sports and they stop playing for a while. It's very important you stay with it. You're not going to give up anytime soon, are you?
No.
No.
I don't think so, anyway.
Now, I'll pop over here to the boys now. One of those belongs to you, I do believe.
This is my son, Tom, yeah.
Tom, how are you doing?
Good, yeah.
So you're best buddies, Will?
Yeah.
Edgy, I believe your name. So, right, what position do you play?
Number 8.
Number 8.
Yeah.
Number 10.
Number 10. Who's your favourite player?
Johnny and Gary Inglis.
Oh, you?
Josh Van der Flair and Kellen Dars.
Oh, right. So it's not all Johnny Sexton, so here.
No.
So what do you love about rugby, tell me?
I just like the contact.
Really?
Yeah, just getting to absolutely, just
smashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you ever get hurt? Because it can be quite, I think sometimes it looks a little bit dangerous. Did you think it is, or are you very mindful?
Well, you have to know the right ways to tackle and the formation of it, yeah.
Sorry?
Depends on how you play it and
Yeah. And so in terms of coaches, Would this fella here be much good?
Yeah, he's been coaching me for 7 years. So.
And that's your dad?
Yeah.
My dad used to teach me in school as well. Sometimes it's not the best, is it?
No.
He's been very careful what he's saying today. So how do you think the match is going to go? How do you think Ireland are going to do in the World Cup?
Yeah, they're going to win. It's probably going to be like France and Ireland in the final.
So you think we'll beat France?
Yeah.
Ooh, tough talk there. Absolutely tough talk. Fighting talk. Speaking of fighting talk, now we're going to have a little challenge here, and I'm not doing it before anyone gets too excited. It will not be me, because everyone knows what happens when I kick balls. Things go horribly, horribly wrong. But we're going to have a drop kick challenge. Is that right? Right. So over we go. Behind us here we have. I'll just wander over here. Yeah. Grab the ball there. Who's going to go first? Right. Will.
Will I go grab the ball from behind? Pass it back here.
Yeah. Do. Right. So we need to. Right. Who's first? Will. No pressure. No pressure. So here we go. Are we ready? In 3, 2, 1, go. Now, who's going to volunteer next? Oh, here we go. Lucy. I most certainly am not doing this, just in case anyone gets excited. Here we go. Oh, we can give it another go in a minute. Who's next? Ruby. I think we've lost Tom. Has he run away from us? All right. Now, and here we go in 3, 2, 1. Oh, Tom. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'd be any good at this now. Right, no pressure. This is the last one, guys. The pressure shot. Way! Well done, guys. Well done. Oh, we've got somebody else visiting who wants to go as well. Everybody wants to go as well. Go on, have a go. Play away there. Come on, everyone come over here. Come on, all say hello to us. Come on, all over. Listen, we're having great fun here. We'll be back again later on in the morning with the legend that is Shane Byrne. So if you want to stick around, we can chat to Shane Byrne. But for now, from everybody here in St. Mary's Rugby Football Club, say hello and goodbye. Bye. See you later on.
I just love seeing the girls doing their drop kicks there. That makes me proud.
I'm going to pay good money to see Elaine do a bit of a drop kick. Now, listen, you've been texting us in all morning, 0896 111 111, about heat. Joan says, I haven't been able to sleep the last few days with this heat. Absolute nightmare. And Janine is talking about investing in a Dyson fan. I have one. And also, sleep sounds.
And you slept with the Dyson fan last night.
I nearly slept with it in the bed, to be honest with you. It was that warm.
Well, we are talking about sleep as well. You know, there was a survey with 1,000 people in Ireland, and they talk about their top ways of going to bed. So Anne-Marie says, I'm like Katya. I need a hot water bottle for my feet, and I had one last night too. So we are part of the 6%, because there are 6% of Irish people that use hot water bottles to go to bed. So there you go.
Listen, Mark is with you. It could be the hottest day on earth, but my mum will always bring a hot water bottle to bed and turn on her electric blanket. I can't get it. I can't get it.
Well, still to come this morning, we're embracing the good weather with a barbecue.
Plus, we know him from the likes of Bridgerton and Paddington Bear. We catch up with actor Ben Miller. Stay with us. We're back in just a few minutes. Morning and welcome back to Ireland AM. The sun is shining and we've decided to have a little barbecue this morning. Won't you join us?
Yes, still to come. Death in Paradise and Paddington star Ben Miller tells us about starring alongside the world's most mannerly bear.
And as Ireland set to clash against Romania in their Rugby World Cup, lucky Tommy Martin will be joining us live from Bordeaux for an update on all the preparations.
Will you be watching?
Ah, yeah.
You better be watching. Got to support the Irish. Come on. Now, it wouldn't be a barbecue without some food. Chef Tommy Butler has something nice and tasty for us on the barbecue. What are we making, Tommy?
I'm going to do a nice whole baked fish here. I have some nice sea bream, so I'm going to give it a little charm. We're going to show you a nice little technique to cook it like in a bag with some tin foil. Draw out some flavours. I'm going to do some nice charred broccoli with a little bit of chilli, honey and some roast nuts. And yeah.
Lovely.
Fish on the barbecue, never had
it. And it doesn't get more fresh than that.
Oh, it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. Now, our Elaine, she's been practising her tackles on the rugby pitch this morning. How's it going, Il?
I don't know now if I'm practicing my tackles, but, you know, I've been watching other people do it. Listen, I'm live here from St Mary's College Rugby Football Club here in Temple Oak in Dublin. Of course, the home to many a famous player, including the one and only Johnny Sexton. Later on in the show, I will be talking to Shane Byrne. You may recognise him from many mullets, of course, a Lions tour stalwart of a former Irish team as well, and an overall legend and sound fella. He'll be giving us his take, of course, on what to expect later on today. But for now, it's back to studio. I might actually, I might try maybe just give it a little bit of a thing later on, will I?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll go on, do it for us. Thanks so much, Elaine. Looking forward to that now. Let's go across to the Virgin Media News Hub for your 10 o'clock news update.
Thanks, Katya. Good morning. More than 600 people have been confirmed dead after a powerful earthquake hit Morocco. The 6.8 magnitude quake struck just after 11 o'clock local time last night, with an epicentre 44 miles southwest of Marrakesh. Its impact was felt in several cities. Frightened residents were seen running out into the streets in Marrakesh, where buildings have collapsed. Many people are still believed to be trapped under rubble, and rescuers are attempting to reach them. Over 300 people were injured, but that figure is expected to rise. Many of the victims are believed to be in hard-to-reach mountain areas. Enoch Burke has been jailed for a second time for breaching a court order by failing to stay away from the school where he worked. The ruling came at a late evening court sitting, which was interrupted several times by angry outbursts from Mr Burke's family. Enoch Burke had resumed his attendance at Wilson's Hospital School in Westmeath when the new term resumed, even though he had been ordered by the High Court to stay away. Last night, Mr Justice Mark Heslin said Enoch Burke's jailing was for an indefinite period until he purges his contempt. A man in his 30s is due in court this morning to face charges in connection with a major drug seizure in Dublin. Cannabis worth an estimated €3.3 million was seized by Gardaí, who stopped and searched a vehicle in Lucan yesterday. 2 men were arrested. A 34-year-old man has been charged, while a 48-year-old man has been released without charge. A status yellow heat warning has come to an end this morning, although forecasters say temperatures will remain in the 20s in most parts today. Ireland officially entered a heat wave yesterday, with a number of weather stations breaking heat records for September. A high of 28.5 degrees was recorded in Oak Park in Carlow. Today, temperatures will fall back a little, but will still remain between 21 and 26 degrees. Rescue efforts are continuing in Greece following deadly floods in parts of the country. The severe rainstorms eased in Greece yesterday, but floodwaters are rising in the centre of the country. Emergency helicopters have been taking people from the water in villages which had been inundated with water and mud. Flooding triggered by rainstorms has also hit neighbouring Bulgaria and Turkey. More heavy rainfall is set to affect Hong Kong today, where widespread flooding has caused major disruption in recent days. Metro stations and roads have been impassable, and some drivers have had to be rescued from their cars.
The streets are already flooded in Hong Kong, and the city remains under its highest rainstorm warning. Record-breaking rainfall paralysed much of Hong Kong yesterday, with flash flooding submerging metro stations and trapping drivers on roads, as authorities suspended schools and urged people to stay indoors. Some drivers had to be rescued from their cars, with car parks so flooded car roofs were only just visible above the water. The Hong Kong rainfall has been caused by the remnants of tropical cyclone Haiku and comes just 1 week after Hong Kong was lashed by its strongest typhoon in 5 years. 86 people were injured as Typhoon Seola swept the region. Marie Mulcahy, Virgin Media News.
A judge in Georgia in the US has rejected former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows' bid to move his case to federal court. He's one of 19 people, including the former President Donald Trump, charged with attempting to overturn Georgia's election results in 2020. Meadows had wanted to get his case moved to a federal court in the hopes of using federal immunity protections to get the charges dropped. Donald Trump is also expected to attempt to get his case moved, but this ruling is a significant setback for him and the other defendants. At a rally in South Dakota last night, the former president, who faces a series of legal actions, was defiant.
So this battle that we're in is a battle for all of us, and it's for history. This is historic. This is a big moment in our country because we're either going to go one way or the other. And if we go the other, we're not going to have a country left. We will fight together, we will win together, and then we will seek justice together. We're going to seek justice together.
The leaders of the world's largest economies are arriving in India for the annual G20 summit meeting. US President Joe Biden touched down yesterday evening ahead of the gathering in the capital, New Delhi. Russian President Vladimir Putin is again staying at home, sending his foreign ministers instead. China's Xi Jinping, who commands the world's second largest economy, has also decided not to come. And finally, in news for now, in Turkey, a rescue operation is underway to bring a trapped cave explorer to the surface. The American researcher, 40-year-old Mark Dickey, fell ill about 1,000 metres below the entrance of a cave, and rescue teams say he's now recovered enough for them to start the process of moving him out. But the operation could take 3 or 4 days.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media.
This afternoon, mist and fog will clear to leave a dry start for many with sunny spells. However, it will be cloudier in the west and the north with patchy rain and drizzle. Temperatures will range from 20 to 24 degrees. This evening, scattered showers will develop, heavy with a chance of isolated thunderstorms. Mist and fog may linger on some coasts through the evening. Temperatures will range from 19 to 23 degrees. And tonight will be mild and humid, becoming quite cloudy with well scattered showers continuing, some heavy with isolated thunderstorms possible. Temperatures will range from 15 to 17 degrees with mist and fog developing once again in light variable winds.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media.
Let's check on your morning papers, starting with the Irish Times. Their front page reads, Kiev accuses Musk of committing evil. The story details how senior Ukrainian official has accused Elon Musk of committing evil by ordering his engineers to restrict access to Kiev's military to prevent a strike on Russian warships that frequently bombard Ukraine's cities.
Pensions and fuel allowance to rise in the budget. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. The paper reveals how state pensions will rise in the budget along with the fuel allowance, meaning some older people will get over €300 a week during winter next year.
The Examiner leads with speed camera bid to cut road deaths. The story reveals that Gardaí are to provide an extra 4,265 hours of speed camera operations in an attempt to get to grips with the devastating death toll on our roads.
On to the tabloids now, and the Herald leads with Hutch family is falling apart. The story details how a nephew of Jerry the Monk Hutch has been jailed for snatching a woman's handbag in a Dublin pub.
The Daily Mail's front page reads, major blow for one-off housing in rural Ireland. The story goes on to say that a clampdown on one-off housing in rural Ireland has been recommended to the government by an expert review group.
The Sun's front page leads with hero cops save mum. The paper details how 2 hero cops risked their lives to pull a woman to safety after gangsters petrol bombed an innocent family's home in West Dublin.
The Star leads with Helen Hunt. It goes to report that Justice Minister Helen McEntee has said she's absolutely determined to bring home the Kinahan gang to face justice here.
And finally, the Mirror leads with I'll do it my way. The paper details how new Late Late Show host Patrick Keelty says he hasn't spoken to Ryan Tubridy as he vows to present the show in his own way.
Now, loads of texts coming in about the rugby, about the weather, about sleep. So let's get into this. We love hearing from you. Jonathan kicks off and he says, we're absolutely buzzing for the match today. Watching it from home with the kids and all the cousins. It's going to be a great day.
I'm loving this. Christina says, lovely to see Elaine chatting with the young rugby stars. The young fella saying he loves getting smashed up was gas. Well, listen, a glutton for punishment when you take up rugby. That's the thing.
And I quote, he said, I love the contact.
Yeah,
he's ready to get his answer. You get in there.
Millie also says, by the way, go on, Elaine. Need to get you drop kicking that ball next. I am fully here for that message.
Yeah.
I want to see her. I want to see her drop kick a ball.
Gillian says, great to see all the kids from St Mary's out. Such a great club, producing so much talent. Because Johnny Sexton came from there. You know, he's one of the top rugby players now.
We were chatting about sleep and heat there. Nicola says, hack for sleeping in the heat. Hot water bottle filled with cold water and put it in the freezer for a few hours. Just a warning, it can't be used as a hot water bottle after this because it breaks the seal.
True,
so you now have your cold water bottle on top of your hot water bottle.
Some people even put their pillowcases in the freezer as well. That's also good because it's around your neck that you get the most heat and your wrists. So once they're cool, you're fine.
Actually, that's a tip I have, because as a drag performer, you're always so warm.
Yeah.
Wrists under cold. I actually
water.
did it last night. Went into the bathroom, just put my wrists under cold water, and it brings the body temperature right down. That or
Works
ice
like
on
a
the back
charm.
of the
Works
back
like
of
a
the
charm.
neck.
Ollie says, I invested in blackout curtains earlier this year, and it's really helped block the heat out of my house this week. The whole family is melting. You know what, Ollie? I agree. Like, I shut down all the blinds when it's about 3-4 p.m. because that's when the sun is blaring in my window. Oh, the apartment
Especially for the
heats up so
puppies
much.
as well. Now listen, we were talking. We love to see Irish people do well, right? We've had the Paul Mescals, we've had the Barry Keogans. Yeah. We love to see those kind of rise up and do the good stuff. We've a new. Not even a new star in town, but a young Irish star called Alison Oliver. She's made Variety's 10 actors to watch for the 2023 list. Now, you can see her there.
Now, that's big.
You said you watched her. She was in Conversation with Friends for Sally Rooney. She's also done Michael Sheen and Sharon Horgan's acclaimed 4-part BBC drama Best Interests. But she has now made that top 10 actors to watch for 2023. And apparently, 35 people chosen for the list in previous years have gone on to be nominated and or win Oscars.
That's so exciting, because she's only 26.
Only
so
26.
It's really, really exciting for her career.
Like, other people who have been in this, Adam Driver, Lupita Nyong'o, Octavia Spencer and Viola Davis. So she is now following in the best footsteps. And I kind of love the fact that we're seeing an Irish girl in this, because we're so quick to, you know, get behind our Barry Keogans, and we're so quick to get behind the Irish male stars like Paul Mescal and stuff. And we're delighted. We want to own you all the time. We don't want to Niall Horan you over to the UK. But it's nice to see the ladies kind of take...
Oh, absolutely.
Take a bit of the thing.
Now, something else that caught my eye now, I think you might be raging at this. Tourists are now charged €99 for watching the sunset at the Cliffs of Moher. Can you believe it?
What?
Yes. So the Cliffs of Moher Experience is the visitor centre run by Clare County Council, and it has priced an enchanting evening experience as such, while providing customers with locally made goods like crackers, chocolates, in a crafted Clare box. And this whole package goes for €99. And now I feel really bad for the tourists that mightn't have a clue that you can enter it in different ways. Sit down with your ham sandwich, can of Coke, couple of bickies there, and you're happy out. That could cost you a fiver. Do you know what I mean?
Do yourself a favour. Text CAF for all the details, right?
Yes.
Coming up next, we're using every drop of that sunlight. Tommy Butler's at the barbecue right after this. Stay with us. Welcome back. Fancy your barbecue to soak up the last of the summer weather?
I sure do. Tommy has popped over from the Portmarnock Hotel to treat us to a bit of Saturday morning barbecue baked fish and a broccoli salad. What more could you want?
Tommy, talk to us.
Okay, so great morning. So thinking of a barbecue, okay? So I was looking at something different. Obviously, we always do chicken and beef and the usual stuff. So I want to do something kind of different, something I do a lot at home.
I've never seen a fish in the barbecue, by the way.
Right, so this is a little bit different. There's a couple of ways you can do this. You can cook the fish straight on the barbecue, which is a little bit tricky because obviously, you know, you need quite a robust fish with a tough skin, you know, so that'll hold the cooking process, which is quite oily. Yeah. But again, it takes a lot of focus, you know. Yeah. So this is kind of a cheats, dare I say, cheats fish. So this is sea bream, right? A very close cousin of our friend sea bass, okay?
So similar taste.
Very similar taste, yeah, just a little bit plumper, depending on the size, okay? So what I'm going to do with this, I'm just going to give it a good oil.
You've had that deboned and...
Just, yeah, I've just had it gutted here, okay?
Well, yeah.
So from here, I'm just going to give it a little score, okay? Just like this. Just to cut into the fish.
What does that do? Does that allow
that just
the
opens
oil
it a little bit, yeah,
okay.
and it will infuse the flavours I'm going to add now in a couple of seconds.
And would this be quite a fatty fish?
No, it wouldn't be too bad now. It's like, to be fair, it's a decent fish, you know, so it's not bad. So it does need a good oil, right? Because the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this straight onto the barbecue, right? Okay. So I'm going to give it a little char on the barbecue.
So it's kind of like searing it, is it?
Pretty much, yeah. So I just want to seal in a little bit of that flavour, okay? So I'm going to add a little bit touch of sea salt, okay? So I just want to impart a little bit of flavour. And then what I'm going to do in a second is I'm going to pop it in here.
What was that you just added to?
That was just salt and pepper. Just salt and pepper.
Red pepper?
It's a red pepper.
Yeah,
peppercorn,
pink peppercorns. Pink peppercorns.
Oh.
Yeah. So what I have here then is just have a little bit of tin foil, right? So in here I've just had a little bit of oil, okay? I'm going to add a splash of wine, okay?
What does the wine do?
The wine just... So we're going to bake the fish in the actual foil, okay? So you already have a little bit of flavour here from this barbecue. Now, I don't want too much because I don't want this...
You're literally just searing it, aren't
just
you?
a little bit of a colour, as you can see there. Not too much, because obviously you can see straight away that skin starts to react and tends to stick, even though it's been quite well oiled. Okay, so I'm going to take that off there just now. That's absolutely perfect there now.
And this is an old trick that you would do with fish as well, because you can get those contraptions that you actually, like, you can leave
You
the
can
fish
actually, you can pop
rapidly
it into it, and like, they're very good, to be fair, as well, but most people don't have time for that kind of stuff. So that's that. So now I'm going to add some flavours, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create like a vacuum, okay? So I have a little bit of onion here, a little bit of red onion. Red onion is a little bit less harsh than white onion, should I say, okay? And I'll touch of chilli, okay? Some scallions, okay? I have a little bit of chopped garlic here as well. I have some parsley, dill, coriander and basil, just chopped. I have some smashed lemongrass. It's important that you smash it because it releases the flavour. Okay, if you stick it in whole, you don't get the same amount of flavour. Chilies I have, what else have I got here? And some lemon.
A fish like this now, this size, how many would you be talking to feed?
It depends how hungry you are, I suppose. I mean, realistically...
You'd probably go and eat all that.
You would, no problem. Yeah. 2 people. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover it, right? Just like this. And then what you do is you put this literally straight back onto the barbecue, just like that.
And leave it there.
And leave it cook away. The foil will create like a vacuum and it'll kind of steam roast and steam
from the inside
steam
out,
grill. You already have a bit of smoke from the char.
Is there a license on time? As you know how well you want to cook to leave it on the barbecue?
About 20 to 25 minutes, depending. Like again, the temperature of your barbecue is very important as well. So if that's at a good temperature, then you're doing okay, you know.
And would you be checking it throughout? Like, do people need to use anything in particular? Or can you just get the fork out and see what sort of texture you have?
Yeah, it's literally you take it out and you'll be able to tell straight away by the smell, and I'll show you now in a second. I have one nearly ready here now, so I'll show you that now in a second. In the meantime, I have 2 things I'm going to add to this, right, just as a little side salad. I have a couple of roasted nuts here, so I have a little bit of almonds, Brazil nuts, walnuts, hazelnuts. So again, nice kind of smoke element, just put them onto the pan here just like this, okay? I also have a little bit of chili honey. So this is our own honey here that we have in Portmarnock. We have our own hives out there, so Fintan, our greenskeeper, does all our own honey for us.
So it's all fresh produce that you're making
fresh
yourself?
Product, yeah. So I've just added a chili to this, right? So we have the kind of the smoke element, we have the nice light fresh fish element, so I wanted to add a little bit of heat.
A little bit of spice.
A little bit of spice.
Oh, yeah.
Always
so that's there, so just put it in and you just leave it to simmer. See, it's at a nice gentle bubble there.
And that's just honey
just like
and in that
pretty
mix?
much, yeah, pretty much just honey in the mix, yeah. Now next, the broccoli. So this is really nice, yeah? So this is I've just blanched the broccoli in a little bit of boiling salted water. Okay, so this is, charred broccoli is a really delicious touch to a barbecue.
And it does naturally kind of have a nutty flavour, which it would go quite well with the roasted nuts.
Exactly, yeah, so it works very well, you know.
Tell me, when you talk about blanching the broccoli, right, because I always want to do this where I want to blanch it really quickly and then put it into the oven and let it cook, or a barbecue. When you're talking blanching, it doesn't need to be like you were going to eat it if you were just throwing it onto the plate, or does it need to be as soft as normal?
Well, blanching technically is to just, you're kind of sealing in the flavours and you're kind of sealing in that kind of chlorophyll and that natural pigments within the broccoli. So just boiling salted water, it should be salty like seawater.
Right.
So it should be really salty because then it locks in those really important nutrition elements that we want from the actual product, okay? So now I'm going to grab this cooked fish here.
Oh, I can't wait for this. It's like opening a Christmas present.
Yeah, it's like a reveal.
Just be careful, that is hot.
Yeah.
The
steam will be creeping out.
So what we have then when we are finished, right, is this open here, right? You have this finished kind of,
this
kind of steam baked, steam roasted, if you can see that. If you can smell, you can stick your head in there and have a smell.
Can we tilt it there and just...
Of course you can, yeah.
There you go. Look at that. Absolutely
And even
beautiful.
the red onions, it's just like everything is just perfectly
It's all that's it. And then all it needs then is like, it's also self-saucing. So again, you just tilt and just baste it back on.
So you're basically re-cooking it down as you use the sauce to kind of throw it back over it.
It's nice and...
Now, would you eat the skin on it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%,
it's quite
Absolutely,
soft.
yeah. So it's quite soft, it's quite ready to go, so I'll take a little bit off here. And again, look, it's rough and ready. It's a barbecue. We're not too fussy about how it looks.
Yeah, but
the flavour's there. We're not going to mess around too much, yeah? So again, you can see it just pops off the skin.
Yeah.
Really loose, really delicate, beautiful fish.
Expensive piece of fish?
Not at all, not at all. Compared to sea bass, like you're talking a huge difference in price.
Yeah.
Okay?
And that broccoli's just been on the barbecue for...
That broccoli, literally a couple of seconds. Again, it depends how you like your broccoli. You don't want it to... Hey, get lost. You don't want it too well cooked because obviously it's quite...
and you'll lose the nutrients
you lose
a bit of that
exactly,
char, which is all you need.
Yeah. A couple of the roasted nuts on top. It's a very simple dish. It's very easy. It's
Can I go?
kind of
And you got your honey,
and then just
sauce.
a little bit of drizzle of the chili honey. Okay. So if you want to have, just be careful not going to the honey will be quite hot.
Okay. Do you want to go for a taste?
See if you want to have a try there. Let me just move this guy out of the way.
I'll go for it as well. Oh well, I can just. You can have the smell. I'm gonna go for the fish. Oh, Tommy. Beautiful.
That is delicious.
Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you, Chef. Full recipe details are on our website now, or you can call into Tommy in the Portmarnock Hotel and tell him we sent you over.
It's time for a quick break now. After this, Elaine is catching up with Ireland rugby legend and noted ballroom dancer Shane Byrne. See you in a few minutes.
A lot has happened since my big fat Greek wedding. Father passed away, and his last wish was for us to visit his childhood village and reconnect with our roots. So, we're having a reunion. We're going to Greece.
Oh, yeah.
And by we, I mean the whole family.
Who wants souvlaki?
Paging souvlaki. Anybody by the name of souvlaki on this flight?
There's no other bedrooms. Family sleepover.
This is one reunion we'll never forget. Do you know these men?
No. I am surprised, but I am not surprised because I'm never surprised. You lost me.
We got these families.
Very welcome back to Ireland AM. My next guest is known for his prowess on the rugby field, his iconic mullet, and more recently, his skills on the ballroom dance floor. Shane Byrne, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, sure. We've been old buddies for ages. Now tell me, Great Pink Run, again this year, you've been involved in it for many, many years.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in it? Why is it so close to your heart?
Well, listen, as we all know, it's a disease, unfortunately, that afflicts so many people. 1 in 9 women, 1 in 1,000 men, but it's still there, still very, very relevant. And so it's a cause that obviously affects so many people, so it was a very easy thing to get involved with.
Yeah, and of course Breast Cancer Ireland, they provide so much money for research, because that's the whole thing, making breast cancer a disease that it's a livable with rather than a sentence for so many people, and the research they do is amazing.
And that's this year, the events this year, there's 3 events this year, and it's very specifically focused on that research. There's a particular strain which unfortunately goes up into the brain. We don't quite understand why it does that. So in conjunction with a university in Chicago and the Royal College of Surgeons, we're doing a lot of research into understand why it goes up there and what it does when it gets there. And then also we have to get that into live trials. When we make progress, get it into live trials. So as well as that, as well as the usual bits and pieces that Breast Cancer Ireland are always doing, the research and the support, these are very specifically focused, and the money that are raised this year in the 3 events are going to go directly towards this.
And it's great when you actually see cause and effect. You raise this money and this is exactly what it's doing, because I mean it's so important, the research and the treatments that will come out of it, like immunotherapy. I mean it's evolved so much over recent years, and it's tailored to the individual. Now the Great Pink Run is going to Cork for the first time this year, my neck of the woods. That is in Cork on the 8th of October, Sunday 1st it's in Kilkenny, and Saturday September 30th it is in Dublin. So which one are you going to be at?
I'll be in
all 3.
No, I'll be in Leopardstown. And remember, it's a family-filled day. It's now rebranded the Very Pink Run, thanks to our new sponsors, very.ie, the online shopping aficionados. Check it out.
Very on brand.
Yeah, thank you very much. And you know, this is the whole thing. It's totally inclusive. Bring your family, bring the kids, bring your pets if you want, and just go out. You can run, shuffle, wheel, whatever you need to do to get through the 5 or 10K, and you can also do it online. If you can't make any of those 3 events that you talked about, the Kilkenny, Dublin or Cork, you can do it online in between the 30th and the 8th. Just go onto our social medias for any Breast Cancer Ireland, register, and then show us what you're doing and raise some money for, as we know, a fantastic cause.
Researching a cure, it's so important. Now, that's not the only thing you've been doing of late. I mean, I have to laugh. We were here all morning and all the little rugby players behind us are coming up to Shane, not for the rugby, but for the dancing. You are a legend. You're a legend in your own lunchtime now.
20 years of rugby has just gone down the drain. All these kids, oh, you were on Dancing with the Stars. That's it.
I also played in 2 World Cups, but you know.
That doesn't matter anything.
What was it? Were you looking back thinking, was it bonkers to do that, or did you actually enjoy it?
It was brilliant.
Really?
It was great fun.
Yeah.
Great fun. And it's brilliant to hear it's coming back.
Woo!
It's brilliant to hear it's coming back. You
Yeah.
know, that's because that was in doubt for quite a while,
Yeah.
and now at least it's back, and there'll be a new set of people who'll have the experiences that we had. Like, it was great fun.
Yeah.
Great bunch of people doing it, and really glad to do it. I got to week 8 of 11. So,
And you didn't do, like I was watching, you didn't do,
right.
because we were in a dancing for Breast Cancer Ireland, a
Yes,
dancing,
we were.
a similar thing a few years ago.
Yeah.
And you were great at the lifts, lifting people up.
Have to be natural at some
Yeah.
point.
In fairness, you did practice quite a long time, that sort of stuff. But now we have to talk about the Rugby World Cup, of course, our first game today against
Yeah.
Romania. It is not going to be too challenging, I would imagine, but
Yeah,
there's always a danger,
games
really.
games like this have their own challenges, because if you're not mentally prepared, they can become a banana skin, and it can make it very, very hard. Results can go away. Things like this happened in 2007 when we went in as one of the favourites for the World Cup. And I don't think it's going to happen this. I think there's a fantastic squad of players. They're superbly skilled, very, very ruthless. And I think just Andy Farrell has to get the mindset right. And I think that's probably one of the best things he's at. Like, normally, the #1 team in the world would be rolling into a World Cup going, they're one of the hot favourites. The only reason people aren't talking to us about that is our history. We've never got past the quarterfinals, even on times where we should have. And that's the one thing that supposedly, in the bookies' view, is holding us back. But I don't think that's going to apply here. I really think that this is a superb team, and they are very, very talented and ruthless. And I think Andy Farrell will get the mindset right.
Yeah, and it is the mental strength that's so important. Now, last night we saw Here, like, no, I won't chase after that. I won't even try. We all know what happens where I'm near any sort of balls. Anyway, but when, sorry, that's a Freudian slip there. But anyway, when we talk about last night's match, we look at New Zealand and we look at France. Now, historically, New Zealand are the ones to beat, but not so much this time.
No.
You weren't as scared of France or New Zealand as perhaps other people are.
Yeah, I think, okay, the one thing about this, all things going right the way it should go, our quarterfinals can only be one of those two teams.
Yeah.
They made a mess out of the seed in the World Cup. That's a whole other debate. One side of the competition has all the top 6 sides, and it's madness. Anyway, but New Zealand didn't play well. France didn't play well last night. They just defended really well, and they took their opportunities. But it would also show New Zealand weren't attacking superbly. I think Ireland on their day, #1 seed, can beat whoever they need to on that day. But France obviously are going to get momentum behind them, the home crowd, everything like that. So I wouldn't have any fear of playing New Zealand in the quarterfinals. Take that flippantly. You know what I mean? It obviously is a huge challenge. But the simple fact is that they're not the aura around them as they used to be. And Ireland were a huge part of breaking that down. The home and away wins that we did, going down there and winning a test series. And the one thing you've got to remember is neither France nor New Zealand will want to play Ireland. Ireland are a seriously hard team to beat when they're on form. And if that's the case, if we build up a bit of momentum, no one's going to want to play Ireland.
Yeah.
So
Do you
it's
think we'll do
all
it?
just...
Do you think we could do it? Not
Well,
wanting to jinx anything.
firstly, I think we'll get past the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And if that happens, anything could happen.
Yeah.
I would go as far to say, injuries pending, obviously we don't know what could happen with that, but whoever wins the quarterfinal that Ireland are in will win the World Cup.
Now, I can't let you go without blaming you for the resurgence of something terrible in our country, in the world, the mullet. Like, when I knew you first, you were adamant the mullet was coming back. You've never not had a mullet. And look, it's all over the world now. Even Paul Mescal has a mullet.
God bless him.
It's everywhere. I'm blaming you. It's all your fault. What do you say for yourself, young man?
Well, listen, I've seen the resurgence once or twice in my time. The problem is it's up there now. It'll disappear. I'll still have mine. I might get 1 or 2 more resurgences back in. Yeah.
I hope you
Told
don't
you
ever
it's
go
coming
bald.
back.
I know, you're always right. You're always right. Listen, thank you so much for joining me on
No
the show
problem.
today. And of course, if you want to join Shane and myself and anybody else doing the Very Pink Run, check out verypinkrun.ie and you can register. Now it's I'm going to hear wrong camera. Back to you in studio.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Elaine. Yeah, the Pink Run is amazing, so make sure you get involved. Now, after this break, we will be talking to an actor. Ben Miller joins us right here on Ireland AM. Stay with us. Very welcome back. We're joined now by an actor who has gone by many names, chief among them, Rob Brydon, apparently.
But unlike the Welsh comedian, you'll know our next guest from projects like Bridgerton, Let in Paradise, and even Paddington 2. Actor Ben Miller joins us now, and he's penned a new book. Good morning, Ben. It's great to have you on the show.
Hey, great to talk to you. You're so right. I get the Rob Brydon thing a lot. In fact, it got to the point where Rob and I swapped numbers, and if we bumped into someone, we would pass on the compliments. So if Rob would send me a text like with a brief description like man, late 40s, corduroy jacket, death in paradise.
It's so funny because only yesterday, Ben, I was watching the iconic kiss between you two.
Iconic for who? Yes, yeah. Well, this is true. We were on a show. I think it was the quiz show hosted by Stephen Fry, QI, and they set us up really. I went into because they do costume and makeup on these shows, and I came onto their set and discovered they dressed Rob and I in absolute identical shirts and made our hair look exactly the same. And of course, it was too much. It was too much to resist that moment, and we ended up, yes, in a sort of full-blooded kiss. Rather like Narcissus of the myth, I think.
Oh, brilliant. We'll go down in television history, I'm sure. But Ben, your real fans will know you for all of your amazing work. And I say you're probably best known for playing Detective Inspector Richard Poole in BBC's Death in Paradise. But tell me now, is it true that you thought this show was a lot more dark and serious than it truly was?
Well, it was the time of The Wire, and I was convinced that that's what we were making. We were making a sort of hard-hitting drama. And I remember the moment when it began to dawn on me that we were making a very different kind of show is I was sitting, the scene was I was sitting by the side of the ocean with a cup of tea, looking up at these cliffs. And they said, we're going to film your reaction as the bride is now going to fall off the cliff. And this dummy dressed in a white, sort of bridal outfit, somersaulted, was just chucked off the top of this roof and went sort of somersaulting down to the ground, bounced about almost as high again off the floor, and then sort of settled in a heap. And I said, okay, that's great. That's for my eyeline, is it? That's so I know what I'm looking at. I said, no, that's it.
It's the real deal.
Must be good, though, into filming that location, too. But listen, myself and Kat were talking earlier on, and we were saying about how different generations will know you for different things, right? And especially this kind of younger generation will clearly know you from your role in Bridgerton, which, is millions of streams. Everyone's obsessed with it. Did you know when you were filming that it was going to be the biggest hit of Netflix and in television history that it was going to be?
No, I mean, quite the opposite. I thought it was going to be a disaster.
Why?
I mean, I just couldn't understand what we were doing. I mean, to be fair, mostly what I do is read a newspaper in the show. So I certainly wasn't involved in any of those scenes. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those scenes originally. So as far as I was concerned, it just seemed to be a sort of, a drama that took place in the drawing room of a house when sort of not much seemed to happen. So I didn't really kind of understand the scope of it. And also it was such it's one of the most enormous productions I've ever been involved in. So you only really knew your little bit. And then when it came on, it was very clever, I think, the way they held the show back to Christmas Day. I don't think that's been done before. And of course, the timing was perfect because we were right in the middle of the pandemic, weren't we? So we all really needed some escapism. And I think as well as the show, it turned out Chris Van Dusen really knew what he was doing. And Shonda Rhimes, she's no slouch when it comes to TV drama. It turns out they really had their eye on the ball. But also, I think there was a very lucky thing about the timing. I think we were all just so ready for some escapism like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, Ben, you do say your children are your harshest critics. I'm curious to know what sort of films or TVs that you've starred in is their favourite.
Well, they really love Paddington. I'm in Paddington 2, which I am so thrilled about. I think it's one of the most wonderful films that I've ever been lucky enough to be a part of, and I think that is the one that they saw, and it sort of began to dawn on them that I wasn't Rob Brydon. You know, that was I think the moment when they were watching that. I think they began to sort of understand what it was that I do when I go away. Because part of the difficulty with you know, young children and filming is you're away for quite long periods of time. You know, a couple of weeks at a time sometimes, and I think that really helps. They saw Paddington 2 and they kind of thought, oh yeah, we really like this film, and that's what Daddy's doing when he's not here.
Oh. And from children's films then moving into children's books, you're now on your 8th book. Is the move between author and actor, is that a natural progression? Is it something you're going to do in the spare time when you're off the set? How do you manage the time?
Well, I remember doing Bridgerton, and I used to. There's a great photo of me with my laptop open, dressed as Lord Featherington. With my laptop open when I was writing my second book, The Boy Who Made the World Disappear. I love doing the books. For me, it's all part of the same job. It's about telling stories, meaningful stories in the most exciting way you possibly can. And when I was little, I loved adventure stories. So that's what I love to write. And having 2 parents as English teachers, I have such a fondness and a nostalgia for reading the books that I loved when I was a kid. And I love to tap into those sort of archetypal stories. This new book, Once Upon a Legend, is about, it's to do with the myths of the giants of Albion, these giants that inhabited the British Isles before the first humans came here. And the idea is that this boy, Marcus, who's misbehaving at school, is sent to this special school where you can't really misbehave. It seems whatever you do, you can't get thrown out. And at night, he goes up onto this mysterious mound with Merlin's staff and shouts, wake up, wanting to wake up the school and get thrown out. But instead he wakes this sleeping giant, and the giants all then rise up and start to march on London, and he has to get together with his stepfather to try and stop them. So it's tapping into what I think is a really old story, this old myth that we all kind of feel in our bones about the first inhabitants of these islands being giants. I mean, it's the fantastic myth of the Giant's Causeway, isn't there, in the battle between the Irish and Scottish giant. You know, I mean, these myths run very deep, and I think it's really fun to bring them alive for kids today.
Oh, I say story time in your house is a hit.
Is epic. Ben, would you like to turn these into films? Would this be the ideal dream? Because obviously you're combining both worlds then.
Yeah.
Only if I can be in them. Sadly, I don't think I'm going to get to play a giant. Because I'm like Rob Brydon in stature as well as looks.
Well, CGI is a great thing. Ben, best of luck with the new book. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ireland AM.
Thank you. Bye. Lovely chatting to you.
And as a reminder that Ben's book, Once Upon a Legend, is available now online and in all good bookshops nationwide.
Still to come, we cross over to Tommy Martin in Bordeaux as Ireland gears up for the Rugby World Cup. We're back in just a few minutes.
You're very welcome back to Ireland AM. I've had a fantastic morning here at St Mary's Rugby Football Club here in Temple Oak in Dublin, of course, home of Johnny Sexton. This is where he played for many, many years, and of course he's going to do it all again today when Ireland take on Romania later on in the day. That, of course, coverage is here on Virgin Media as well. Before that, of course, we have the Italy versus Namibia game that kicks off in just about a half an hour or so stay tuned for that. Now, I hope you didn't miss me too much all morning now, because I've been out gallivanting, lads.
Well, Paul's over here crying.
I've been missing you so much, babe. The place is dead without you. But listen, we'll
chat to you. Lie like a cheap rug.
Come on.
You know me too well, babe. Listen, we'll chat to you in just a little bit. Thanks, Elaine. Before Ireland get their World Cup underway against Romania, we'll be crossing over to Tommy Martin in France for a little catch-up.
That will be exciting, but first let's go across to the Virgin Media News Hub for your 11 o'clock headlines. Here's Geraldine Lynagh.
Thanks, Katya. Good morning. More than 600 people have been confirmed dead after a powerful earthquake hit Morocco. The 6.8 magnitude quake struck just after 11 o'clock local time last night, with an epicentre 44 miles southwest of Marrakesh. Its impact was felt in several cities. Frightened residents were seen running out onto the streets in Marrakesh, where buildings have collapsed. Many are believed to still be trapped under the rubble, and rescuers are attempting to reach them. Over 300 people were injured, but that figure is expected to rise. Many of the victims are believed to be in hard-to-reach mountain areas. Enoch Burke has been jailed for a second time for breaching a court order by failing to stay away from the school where he worked. The ruling came at a late evening court sitting, which was interrupted several times by angry outbursts from Mr Burke's family. Enoch Burke had resumed his attendance at Wilson's Hospital School in Westmeath when the new term resumed, even though he had been ordered by the High Court to stay away. Last night, Mr Justice Mark Heslin said Enoch Burke's jailing was for an indefinite period until he purges his contempt. A man in his 30s is due in court this morning to face charges in connection with a major drug seizure in Dublin. Cannabis worth an estimated €3.3 million was seized by Gardaí, who stopped and searched a vehicle in Lucan yesterday. 2 men were arrested. A 34-year-old man has been charged, while a 48-year-old man has been released without charge. Rescue efforts are continuing in Greece following deadly floods in parts of the country. The severe rainstorms eased in Greece yesterday, but the floodwaters are rising in the centre of the country. Emergency helicopters have been taking people from the water in villages which had been inundated with water and mud. Flooding triggered by rainstorms has also hit neighbouring Bulgaria and Turkey. More heavy rainfall is set to affect Hong Kong today, where deadly flooding has caused major disruption in recent days. Metro stations and roads have been impassable, and some drivers have had to be rescued from their cars.
The streets are already flooded in Hong Kong, and the city remains under its highest rainstorm warning. Record-breaking rainfall paralysed much of Hong Kong yesterday, with flash flooding submerging metro stations and trapping drivers on roads, as authorities suspended schools and urged people to stay indoors. Some drivers had to be rescued from their cars, with car parks so flooded car roofs were only just visible above the water. The Hong Kong rainfall has been caused by the remnants of tropical cyclone Haiku and comes just 1 week after Hong Kong was lashed by its strongest typhoon in 5 years. 86 people were injured as Typhoon Seola swept the region. Marie Mulcahy, Virgin Media News.
A judge in Georgia in the US has rejected former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows' bid to move his case to federal court. He's one of 19 people, including the former President Donald Trump, charged with attempting to overturn Georgia's election results in 2020. Meadows had wanted to get his case moved to a federal court in the hopes of using federal immunity protections to get the charges dropped. Donald Trump is also expected to attempt to get his case moved, but this ruling is a significant setback for him and other defendants. At a rally in South Dakota last night, the former president, who faces a series of legal actions, was defiant.
So this battle that we're in is a battle for all of us, and it's for history. This is historic. This is a big moment in our country because we're either going to go one way or the other. And if we go the other, we're not going to have a country left. We will fight together, we will win together, and then we will seek justice together. We're going to seek justice together.
The leaders of the world's largest economies are arriving in India for the annual G20 summit meeting. US President Joe Biden touched down yesterday evening ahead of the gathering in the capital, New Delhi. Russian President Vladimir Putin is again staying at home, sending his foreign ministers instead. China's Xi Jinping, who commands the world's second largest economy, has also decided not to come. And finally, news in Turkey, a rescue operation is underway to bring a trapped cave explorer to the surface. The American researcher, 40-year-old Mark Dickey, fell ill about 1,000 metres below the entrance of a cave, and rescue teams say he has now recovered enough for them to start the process of moving him out. The rescue operation could take 3 or 4 days.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media.
This afternoon, mist and fog will clear to leave a dry start for many with sunny spells. However, it will be cloudier in the west and the north with patchy rain and drizzle. Temperatures will range from 20 to 24 degrees. This evening, scattered showers will develop, heavy with a chance of isolated thunderstorms. Mist and fog may linger on some coasts through the evening. Temperatures will range from 19 to 23 degrees. And tonight will be mild and humid, becoming quite cloudy with well scattered showers continuing, some heavy with isolated thunderstorms possible. Temperatures will range from 15 to 17 degrees with mist and fog developing once again in light variable winds.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media.
Now let's check on your morning papers, starting with the Irish Times. Their front page reads, Kyiv accuses Musk of committing evil. The story details how a senior Ukrainian official has accused Elon Musk of committing evil by ordering his engineers to restrict internet access to Kyiv's military to prevent a strike on Russian warships that frequently bombard Ukraine's cities.
Pensions and fuel allowance to rise in the budget. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. The paper reveals how state pensions will rise in the budget along with the fuel allowance, meaning some older people will get over €300 a week during winter next year.
The Examiner leads with speed camera bid to cut road deaths. The story reveals that Gardaí are to provide an extra 4,265 hours of speed camera operations in an attempt to get to grips with the devastating death toll on the roads.
On to the tabloids now, and the Herald leads with Hutch family is falling apart. The story details how a nephew of Jerry the Monk Hutch has been jailed for snatching a woman's handbag in a Dublin pub.
The Daily Mail's front page reads, major blow for one-off housing in rural Ireland. The story goes on to say that a clampdown on one-off housing in rural Ireland has been recommended to the government by an expert review group.
The Sun's front page leads with hero cops save mum. The paper details how two hero cops risked their lives to pull a woman to safety after gangsters petrol-bombed an innocent family's home in West Dublin.
The Star leads with Helen Hunt. It goes on to report that Justice Minister Helen McEntee has said she is absolutely determined to bring home the Kinahan gang leaders to face justice here.
And finally, the Mirror leads with I'll do it my way. The paper details how new Late Late Show host Patrick Keelty says he hasn't spoken to Ryan Tubridy as he vows to present the show in his very own way.
Now, shall we get into some texts?
You've been texting in thick and fast. Julie says, I had the worst sleep ever last night. The heat was unbearable. Luckily, have ye to get me through the morning. Hello, Julie. Thank you so much for that.
We got you, Julie. Anne says, everyone needs to stop moaning about the heat. It'll be gone tomorrow. Let's enjoy it. That is one thing about Irish people. Like, we do love when the sun comes out. But we're not used to it, so we complain a lot.
We just love to moan. We just love to moan.
But yeah, hopefully the sun stays for another day. Jordan says the bed was roasting last night, and to make it worse, our 10 kids and dogs decided to join us. I was dying.
There you go. Up next, Ireland are just 3.5 hours from their Rugby World Cup against Romania. We're crossing live to Bordeaux for the latest after this break. Back to Ireland AM. Now, Ireland look fit and ready to go for today's World Cup opener against Romania.
Our reporter, Tommy Martin, is in France this morning with a special guest. Good morning, Tommy.
Bienvenue à Bordeaux, ça va, Katia and Paul. Yes, great to be here in Bordeaux for the start of the Rugby World Cup, which is finally underway. A nation rejoiced in Paris last night as France got off to a winning start against New Zealand. But let's face it, all our attention is going to be here in Bordeaux today, where Ireland start their campaign just about 5 kilometres up the road at Stade de Bordeaux against Romania. Huge expectations carried with this Irish team, world number 1 coming into the tournament, but then we've been there before, haven't we? And we know about World Cup disappointments. And joining me to chat about it all is a man who knows all about the highs and the lows of Rugby World Cups with Ireland, and his dulcet tones will be on the commentary today on Virgin Media 1. Alan, it's great to have you with us. I know you were having a jog in there. I just grabbed you off the boardwalk.
I just finished doing a workout, Tommy. Yeah, having happy memories of Bordeaux in 2007. I'm not even sure where that famous hotel is. I've kind of tried to get rid of that out of my mind, but yeah, it wasn't good the last time Ireland were here.
Are you enjoying it a bit more this time, and do you have better expectations for what's going to happen this time?
It doesn't really matter what I think in a sense of how Ireland go, really, because it's really how they've prepared themselves. I'm sure they will obviously have, you know, it's come up a fair bit within the squad, within the press, I should say, about the preparation for that World Cup and how we probably got things wrong and where we were staying and all that kind of stuff. No such excuses are going to be used this time, because I think Ireland's preparation has been really pleasing for them. I think they've really enjoyed it. Obviously staying in tours, coming down here for a few days. I'm sure they've got all the hotel locations and everything perfect for them. But it's really exciting. I think it's, you know, there's a lot of pressure with this for Ireland, but I think they're ready to embrace it.
It's funny you should say about the hotel is just a few 100 metres up the road, and some of the players have been seen on little scooters out venturing around, going for coffees, generally having a bit more freedom and enjoying themselves. So hopefully that'll translate then when the games start. As for today's game, Alan, like, Romania are one of the minnows of the tournament. They're a second lowest ranked team, and nobody expects Ireland not to win. So what constitutes a good day at the office today for Ireland?
That's a good question, Tommy. I think Andy Farrell would love to get a bit of a flow to his game today and you know, lay down a marker. I think send out a message to the rest of the competitors and potential challengers. So I think it's important that you know, the last time this team really played, it was against England. That's a few weeks ago, and lots of people are asking about what team will be picked next week, and a little bit surprised that he went so strong today. So they need game time, minutes under their belt, and they need to kind of up the ante and change gears a little bit. So I think I'd like to see them, you know, scoring lots of tries. Obviously, they should win the game comfortably. They certainly won't. The memory of 07 won't be completely gone out of Paul. Is probably the only one that's there. He's involved in the coaching staff, but everyone's well aware that, you know, we had two easy fixtures in 07 and they didn't work out like that. So they've got to respect Romania. Vern Cotter's involved with them. I think they'll be competitive and they'll try and make it difficult for Ireland. The weather is going to be a factor. So, you know, Andy Farrell to get through at the end of it, that everyone in the 23 gets some game time and they get a good flow to their game and hopefully don't get any injuries.
They look like they're sort of hitting their straps and building into the business end.
It's difficult, obviously, with the level of opposition you're playing to really judge it, so we don't know. But these games are kind of banana skins, they call them. You've got to get a big score. Ireland have, I think, for themselves, lay down a marker and be pretty ruthless today.
Yeah, and I think that was the sort of the vibe around the squad. We were listening to and attending the press conferences during the week. It's very much getting down to business time. That was the message they were getting across. Just a note on last night, because talking to a lot of the Irish fans yesterday, a lot of them were kind of, when they were talking about their hopes of the World Cup, saying like, well, let's have a look and see how France and New Zealand goes, because that may obviously be relevant to Ireland down the line if we get out of the group. What conclusions are you drawing from that game in what was, in the end, looked a pretty comfortable French win?
It was a comfortable French win in the end. The second half was you know, very dominant performance from France. They didn't let New Zealand anywhere near, bar the try from Talia in the second half, and probably those two tries were the only kind of periods of. They had some line breaks, New Zealand, so they caused France a few issues, but France's dominance, particularly around a set piece and their forward power in that second half, was really telling. So lots of mistakes and errors. I think it was really hot as well, which is going to play a factor in a lot of these early games. But France at home, the momentum of the crowd, the quality of the players they have, they're going to be very, very difficult to stop. That's one thing that just jumped out at me last night. If you're playing France in that stadium with that crowd behind them, it'll take some team to beat them. It'll take some team to beat them. But look, it was a great start. It was a great atmosphere, and Ireland have just got to focus on their pool games and try and get out of the group. And obviously Scotland are going to have a big say in what happens in this group.
Yeah, like you're talking about atmosphere. Like I was in Paris, obviously the game, but here in Bordeaux and the scenes, lots of Irish and the Welsh fans, loads of them as well. They're playing on Sunday here, mixing with the French out last night. An absolute carnival atmosphere, and that's just. Final point just to make, Alan, is that everybody's just such great excitement about this tournament. I don't know whether it's because it's here in France with everything that involves. The fact that the tournament itself people expect to be really competitive and really engaging, and lots of interesting games. And even this weekend, there's so much to look forward to as well, isn't there?
Yeah, it is, and it's no surprise that there's so many Irish after travelling here, and that will happen throughout the tournament. Hopefully, some will have booked last pool game, quarterfinals, that kind of. Those couple of games, but it's not a surprise. The Irish travel so well everywhere for any of their sporting heroes or national teams, and it's wonderful to see. You know, they'll make they'll really enjoy themselves. It's really important that they get behind the team. Like I said at the start, there's a certain amount of pressure on this group. I think it certainly focuses the mind, Tommy, that the side of the draw that Ireland are on, maybe it'll be a good thing that they know there's no easy path here and they've got to be switched on for every game. And I think Andy Farrell will know that, and hopefully the crowd can enjoy it as well and get a good start today.
Well, listen, thanks for that, Alan. I'll let you go and rest your vocal cords. Alan and Dave McIntyre will be commentating on the game on Virgin Media 1, 2:30 Irish time kickoff. Loads of Irish fans here taking in their morning stroll, maybe going for a croissant and a coffee before heading up to the stadium. They're in for a cracking day's entertainment, we hope. So that's it from Bordeaux. A little too early to sample the region's most famous product, so just going to have another cafe au lait.
Amazing, thank you, Tommy. Earlier, we enjoyed a delicious barbecue of baked fish and charred broccoli salad.
And here's how you can copy us at home while the good weather continues.
Place a chilli in the honey and simmer. Remove and cool. Preheat a barbecue to medium high and score the fish on the skin diagonally. Season with sea salt, black pepper and lime zest and juice. Add the scallion and lemongrass and drizzle with white wine, fresh herbs and olive oil. Add some roasted hazelnuts, serve alongside the fish and enjoy.
Coming up on tomorrow's show, Margot Robbie portrayed her in The Wolf of Wall Street. Now she is a marriage therapist. We chat to Nadine Macaluso on Life After Jordan Belfort.
They're having the time of their lives. We meet the stars of Dirty Dancing who've hit the Dublin stage.
And award-winning Irish writer Marita Conlon McKenna on the book We All Grew Up Under the Hawthorn Tree.
All that plus we're investigating the monochrome trend in fashion, and we've cheese puff pastries in the kitchen. We're back tomorrow from 9. Now, you've been texting us about your sleep. You're mad for your sleep. Marcus says, I sleep every night with a wet, cold towel on my head. Keeps me cool and I get the best sleep. I'd be terrified I'd wake up and be like, oh my God, why am I soaking?
I know, but isn't that what you said with the wrists?
The wrists and the back of the neck.
The back of the neck.
You're
maybe
ever too
the
hot.
head's the same. Good tip. Jack says, I sleep with an eye mask because I can't stand any light at all. I sleep incredibly in the pitch black.
Yeah, I've never really... I can listen, I can sleep anywhere. I'm all good. I'm all good. Millie
It
says,
was-
I've been sleeping with the window wide open, but I'm terrified of the spiders coming in. They seem to be getting bigger and bigger. Do you know what, Millie? You're absolutely right. It terrifies me too.
No, Dara had to go out with the Hoover on our window because we had... I shouldn't be saying this. The whole family is spiders. The whole family is spiders.
And now they're inside of me.
And now they're inside my Hoover bag. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible person. But yes, that's how we cope.
Listen, whatever you do to get you through the night. I'm just terrified that I'm going to wake up and there's going to be somebody in my house after the window being open. But listen, that's a whole different story.
And come here, try the hot water bottle tonight.
No.
And let me know how you get on.
No, you're demented. I'm not doing that. Cold hot water bottle.
See you tomorrow.
Enjoy your Saturday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.